don't know if Jasveer, you can see me, right?
Yep, I can see you.
Okay. Okay, I think I need
Am I
to...
audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible. Okay, then. Okay, so finally we are here live back again after a lot of time. So hey everyone, good evening, and I think it's morning for Jasveer because Jasveer is right now in Canada. So good morning,
Yes.
Jasveer, and welcome to this book launch and book live event by Kharido Becho team. So before we start what we have the agenda for today, let me introduce you and let me introduce what we have in place for today. So everyone, we have here Jasveer Singh Dangi, who is going to be the limelight for today. Yes, he is the author, podcast host, behavioral trainer, and award-winning health and safety professional. So as I said, that he's currently based out in Canada and is a member of the Writers Union of Canada. So today we are going to talk about his ninth book. Yes, my dear friends, his ninth book, The Hunter Genesis. I'm not going to say a lot about him because I feel when I was asking about the intro from Jasveer, and there are so many things to talk about. But I would really like Jasveer to tell something about him and also about what this book is about. A little intro. Over to you, Jasveer.
Thank you, Anumeha, for having me over here, and thank you, Vibhuti, for organizing this, the entire Kharido Becho team. Uh, really happy with the way you guys are working, really professional group. So thank you for arranging this. Um, well, I've been working on this book for almost 2 years now, and ever since I came to Canada, I've been obsessed with the idea of an adventure story. And Mansi Narula, who had edited the first cut of the book, uh, I mean, originally this book was supposed to be about a lakh, maybe 1,10,000 words, which was going to be pretty huge. So it was her idea to, have two books. So book two is almost in the final stages. Book one, of course, is ready, and it's launched by Lead Start Publishing. I'm really happy with them as well. Uh, but this when I became an author, I had always been obsessed with action thrillers, spy thrillers, uh, and adventure stories. As an author, as a storyteller, I'm a kid. I write from the point of view of a child. So I can never write on serious subjects, but adventure and action is something that I really crave for. I really love, and the idea for the book was born about 2 years ago when I came to Canada, and I had been working on it. In between, I have launched three books rather. So this has been long time in the making. I hope people like it. Uh, the time setting, the period setting, I've tried to be as authentic as possible when it comes to 18th century. The story is based over there, and the characters have been created according to that time period. So I'm really hopeful that people are going to love it. Book two will be out sometime in the mid of 2023. But book one in itself is a fantastic journey.
Okay, so thank you so much for that brief and mysterious introduction, I would rather say, because you haven't told about the book yet a lot. So yeah, I think we will discuss about it later going ahead. So Jasveer, first of all, I would like to know something about you before even we talk about the book. Okay, so I was reading about you and I got to know that you have written 9 books and you have had a lot of achievements in your life. Okay, so I can say that in fact I would like to mention it here also that he was rated as one of the 10 Indian authors redefining modern literature by Kathmandu Tribune and recognized by NE8X. In 2018, he was awarded by IISSM for his contribution towards health and safety, and furthermore, and a lot. So, Jasveer, I know that you have been writing for your passion and anything. So, besides that, what else do you pursue? Okay, and how this writing, like how this writer motivation came from, and how and in fact at a point where I can see from that you have achieved so much in your life, like so many awards at such a young age, I should say. Then just tell me one thing, that how do you get the motivation, and you're writing your 9th book, how so?
I'll take that as a compliment at such a young age.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
be 42, but yeah, I take that as a compliment. Thank you so much. Uh, you know, as a storyteller, I've always been using the skill of, or rather the methodology of storytelling as a trainer. As a trainer, if you're speaking something in plain language, people don't associate with the concept, right? As a soft skill, as a behavioral trainer. But then if you explain it in the form of a story, in the form of a case study is also nothing but a story. So storytelling comes naturally to me. And in fact, I've told many people that, I don't consider myself an author, I'm a storyteller. I use the simplest of the language to tell a story. So if a situation is my character is looking at a sunrise, then I write, he's looking at sunrise. So that kind of simple language I use. So storytelling was always there, but being an author happened accidentally. I am in a habit of writing my journal. And in 2018, somebody had a look at my journal and it had about 55,000 words worth of childhood memories. They said, you know what, this is awesome. This can become a book. And before that, and after college, I had never even read a book. So I'm that bad. I was not. Can you hear me? I think the connection got lost. Sorry
Yes,
about
yes.
that.
We
I'm
we
back.
can able to.
Yeah, sorry about that glitch. So I was not a, very avid reader, but when somebody said, this can actually become a book, and it was my friend Chetan Singh. He's no more. I lost him to COVID. He was a dear friend. God bless his soul. But then it was his idea to convert it into a book. That is the first time, I thought of becoming an author. I took it seriously. I read a few books, and my first ever book was Chetan Bhagat's One Indian Girl. I still love that book for its simplicity and the attention to detail. And, that is when I got the confidence, and finally I sent it to a few publishers. They said, yes, we can do that. And I got it done. That was my naive attempt at becoming an author. But then I can confidently say that as I've moved from one book to the other, I have consistently tried to improve myself. Like I said, I hadn't read many books. So this is just my way of telling a story in the simplest of the language. So, and after that came the next book, which was kind of a semi-autobiographical, using my college memories and initial corporate days, Diary from Heaven. The fiction and non-fiction, a combination of that. Then came 110, which was my first fully fiction spy thriller. And then I collaborated with a cancer survivor, Mr. Shainik Shah, to write his story, which is titled Shahenshah, story of Shainik Shah. So Shah and Shahenshah, I think he's a cancer conqueror. He's not a winner, he's not a survivor. He actually conquered uh, cancer even after losing his voice. Here's a unique fact about Phoenix. Even after losing his voice, he's a motivational speaker. His entire voice box was removed during the cancer surgery, so he lost his voice. But he still is a motivational speaker for the last 26 years, and he's been doing a phenomenal job. That was wonderful. Then I wrote a short story book called The Metromaniac Chronicle. That's basically different travelers in Delhi Metro. Nothing but my observation. I wrote that book in about 3 days
Wow,
while traveling in Delhi Metro.
nice.
So that's kind of a very short read, but then it's got about 32 different chapters with 32 different kinds of travelers. I've tried to make it quirky, I've tried to make it funny, and the equivalent of that kind of a traveler in a corporate life. So if it's a certain kind of traveler, what does it mean in a corporate life? That's just my take on different kind of travelers and different kind of employees.
I
Then
can see that all you
I
have related things. Yeah, that's wonderful.
I'm a corporate trainer. Everything that I observe, everything that I see in my life, I use it in my stories. So, in my trainings as well. So that's how I make it really relatable with my participants. Then I collaborated with a healthcare professional, Mandakini Pawar. She's a great individual. I wrote her story called The Essence of Ganga. Mandakini, which incidentally means Ganga, right?
Yeah.
Mandakini is another word for Ganga. So, the essence of Ganga, this is her spiritual journey. and her journey through healthcare in India. Being a female, she's achieved a lot. So that was a wonderful thing. And then came Ensemble, which is a collection of short stories and essays from my life, fact and fiction both. So it's got fiction and non-fiction, I'm sorry, both. And then came Incredible Mr. Sweet. So that is kind of my first story, truly based in Canada. A very simple story of an ex-con who's coming out of prison after 30, 35 years and his life, his second coming. And of course, now I'm working on the Hunter Genesis.
Yeah.
So it's been a really good journey. I mean, really adventurous journey.
I think you just answered my question also, because I was about to ask you this question, that how has this whole journey been? Starting from the first book that you wrote, version 1.5 in 2018, and I can see that with all the observation, with all the experiences that you have gained across all these years, you have tried to just write it down. In fact, I concluded something from what you said, that people who don't even like read books, or people who just journal, like they have so much to give to the people. So like you thought of it, you took a moment, and you are giving away whatever you have to the people out there. That is a wonderful, I think that's a kind of charity that you are doing for all of us, right? So yeah,
I think that's a thought that comes to somebody who reads their own story. Will people read about a common man? I mean, what do I have to share? But remember, life is the culmination of stories.
yes.
I mean, it's nothing but a combination of stories that we encounter, that we are all part of. And, to share it with somebody takes a great deal of strength. And if you can do that, I mean, that's one step that you've taken.
Yep. In fact, before we unreveal your book, okay, because I wanted to unreveal your book and then talk about more, and because I have a lot of questions about this book also, but I would quickly like to mention to our audience also who have joined here on the chat, that you people can ask questions. You people can write your questions in the comment, and we will pick your questions. We will ask Jasveer. So if you people want to ask any questions, please write it down in the comment section, and we will be doing it. So I would like to take this moment, Jasveer, so that we can unreveal your book, okay, and show everyone that what a wonderful book this is. Yes, I have a very you have a very colorful packing, and I have a very plain one. But believe me, yes. But the content is the same.
So
Let's do it. Let's do the honors.
Yeah.
I would like you to first go, and then. So here we are.
Thank you.
For the people, for everyone who has been waiting for Jaspreet's new book, this is the Hunter Genesis. I must say that this is such an I'm so intrigued with whatever the color combination, whatever the book is, and I think the content will be as mysterious. And yeah, I think there's something mysterious about you, right? Because I will ask you some questions also, but okay, I will ask you the first question about this book. Why the name The Hunter Genesis?
I had a few names when I was writing the story, and over the last 2 years it has changed. But finally, the book landed with Mansi, who actually edited, Mansi Natula Kashyap. We worked together to help authors, build their stories and publish their books. She's also based in US, so we are on the same time zone. So we were mulling on the name, and like I said, I write simple stories, so we wanted to keep the name simple. So this guy is a hunter of antiquities. He hunts rare objects. He finds rare objects. Hence, we couldn't keep it more simple. The Hunter. His name is Hunter. There isn't any other name by which he's known in the entire story. They call him the Hunter. That's it. And we said, and this was supposed to be a very tentative name. So I had a few other names, the Jewel Thief, things like that. I wanted to make it a bit tacky, but then we said, the story is simple. Let's keep the name simple. Why don't we choose the name Hunter? He hunts objects, right? He has the ability to find objects which have been lost for ages. So we said he's hunting, right? Let's call him the Hunter.
Yes. whatever it is, wherever it is, he will find it as the book is.
Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
can see that a lot of people are commenting right now that they're loving the cover of the book. They're really loving it. In fact, we have some questions also. So there's one question before I ask more about this book. I think Alpai Sankam is asking you, what motivates you to become an author?
I mean, like I said, I was never a reader, so that author-reader combination has to go hand in hand. But then for me, it's unusual. Uh, my stories have always been part of the way I've lived my corporate life as a trainer. I'm a storyteller in my general life as well. People know me that I can tell stories for hours and hours. And it wasn't until somebody else looked at my diary and said, you know what, we can publish this. Chetan had already published a book. So he was already a published author. He knew about the publication industry, what a book is like. I mean, he was an avid reader. Once again, God bless his soul.
Yeah.
But then when he looked at my diary, he was like, Jasveer, why don't you publish it? And I mean, that was a shock. I had never thought about being an author. So for me, it came accidentally. But then I know the process had been building for some time. As I kept writing my stories, as I kept narrating my stories, I guess this was destiny. And incidentally, my father was also a publishing professional all his life, 35 years in Government of India. He retired as Deputy Director with the Directorate of Printing, Government of India. So I don't know. I call it destiny that my father was into publishing industry and then I finally also became an author. So, I mean, for me, it was accident. And once I started it, I just couldn't stop it. That's the reality. I published one book. I don't care whether the reviews were good or not, but it motivated me to write further. So as I kept doing it, I mean, it kept happening again and again. And then right now I've got about 55 folders in my computer with different stories. Some are finished, of course, 9 of them are finished, right? But there are 49 other ideas that are unfinished. So you never know what lies in the future. But yeah, but writing one kept motivating me to write more and more and more.
I think it was somewhere in your destiny that you were to become an author, and somehow Chetan came into your life. Really, really gratitude for that person who actually gave us this wonderful author. You have been telling us stories, and this is the most wonderful part of it. There's some people who come into our lives and then somehow they channelize us in the right direction. So that is what I should say.
Right.
So he would be really happy looking at you today because whatever you have achieved, and I hope whatever question our audience asked us about what motivated, I think that shows how much motivated an author you are, and you're motivating us today also. Okay, so
right.
Yeah,
I think somebody is writing many stories that we all can write diaries, but then it's the confidence that stops us. I think I don't know your real name, sir, ma'am, but then that is the first step that I'm talking about. If you've written something, if you don't share it with anybody, remember it's a thought. Unless and until it comes out verbally or in writing, nobody's going to know about your stories. So take that first step. Don't worry about the feedback. Don't worry about the reviews. Just take the first step, get your book ready, launch it in the market. If you do get feedback, if you do get bad reviews, learn from them and improve it. It's a continuous process. I do not say that the Hunter Genesis is perfect or all my books were perfect. Even if I pick up my book today or somebody else, they might identify an error. They might find an error, which is okay, which is part of self-publishing.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of money ourselves, right? And maybe editing may or may not be perfect, the kind of budgets that we work with. But if you get your work out, if you get the feedback, that is a start. And make sure you keep improving as you get the reviews, as you keep getting the feedback.
Yes, I think somehow you have motivated the other people who are actually, because there's somebody asking us that how to overcome this phobia. I think somehow Jasveer already answered it, that yes, you have to start. You have to start somewhere in your life, and then you have to proceed and see. Because until you do it, nobody is going to know what all you have in your mind, what all stories you have to tell people. So yeah. Okay, so Jasveer,
and here's a suggestion. If you are not confident about publishing your book, then something called test reading or beta reading, right? That is take a printout, give it to certain people that you trust, give it to authors that you trust, get their feedback, get their review even before you published. So that's a good idea, and I have done that for Incredible Mr. Sweets. I have done that for Hunter Genesis as well. That really worked. So test reading really works. Every app, every website has got a beta version, right? We all know that. That's called a test version. They launch it in general public, get the feedback, and once the main product is launched, it's in much better format because they've got the review from the tests and from the beta readers, right? So similarly, authors can do that. Take a printout, give it to people. If not full book, give them at least one chapter, two chapters, three chapters, get their review, and then make changes accordingly. That should give you confidence.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think that is a great idea. In fact, even I can try that because yeah, that's a wonderful thing. That sometimes we are just afraid and scared of what people will think of it, and maybe we can just distribute it, just one page, and maybe start there. It will give us some
Exactly.
hope. Yes. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so I have a question here for this book, especially the Hunter Genesis. So I know that somehow whatever we write is motivated or inspired, or we get the inspiration from something around us. Okay, there are some people who inspire us, some instances that inspire us, and I also know that you love traveling. So you might have met a lot of people, you might have come across a lot of people. So just one thing, that can we know something about this book, and exactly is it related to something in your life, some person? Yes.
Yes, it's related to an aspect of my life, which is traveling. I've traveled across India. I was training for telecoms a lot when I was in India. So telecom is present all across India, right? From east to west to north to south, as far as Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari, I've traveled a lot. So this book one, book two, book three, all of the books will have a lot of traveling. That's the whole axiom of adventure stories, right? So the book one has got extensive traveling across India. I've tried to keep the journey as authentic as possible if somebody was traveling in the 18th century, right? So that part of my life will resonate in the Hunter Genesis as well. The explorer, the traveler part.
Yes. So I think that answers that how you are getting
Yes.
all the ideas and everything. Okay, so I won't make you wait a lot, and because I want to know more about you, but from other people also who have been a part of your journey.
Okay.
So let's try and invite Sonu and Mansi, and after they are here, we will introduce them and then ask some questions also. So
Yeah.
can you help me just be to send like them invite for we have
How do I do that?
we have an option here down there where the comment is written. Here is an option of a person and an arrow is made. We can just click on this thing and we can type the name here. Even I am trying for
No problem. Let me do that. Here we go. I hope it goes. Yes. Okay.
Hey, hi Sonu.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
And
Hello, sir.
Hi, Jasveer, आप कैसे हैं?
Good.
So
Let me tell you in the interesting story how I met Sonu. Before you introduce him, how did I meet him? He's of course from the film industry, and you'll introduce him. But then, how did I meet Sonu? We met on Instagram. I wrote a review about a show called Taj Mahal 1987, if I'm not wrong, or 1983, right? I loved it. Sonu saw the review and got in touch, and we've been in touch ever since.
wow.
So
amazing. So that means that I can see that you write really good, Jasveer, and that's why just one message that you wrote and whatever review you wrote, and you people are now friends for like life, right? So that's
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it there. Okay, so before we talk to Sonu and ask him about Jasveer, let me tell you all that who Sonu is. So Sonu Anand is with us today as the guest, and he is a professional actor. dialogue coach, writer and director of the upcoming movie Chakubas. So really such a big thank you for you to joining us here on this live session, because this is a very big moment for Jasveer also. I know that he has already written like this is his ninth book, but I feel that a book is
Yeah.
like a child to an author, and every single book is so precious, so adorable to someone. So Sonu, we would like to ask you something about Jasveer, that have you gone through some of his books, and how do you find the idea of him being an author, and how he inspires you, how kind of a person he is? Anything will be good.
As you said, I read that review and I must have liked the review so much because there were not much positive reviews about that show, and I really liked the show, and I was surprised why nobody's saying good about the show. So I looked for a good review, and Jasveer had written a lovely thing, and I agreed with it. And then we connected, and we did a online show also for his book, The Incredible Mr. Sweets. So I read the book, and a lot of our actors, uh, eight, nine combination of actors did that scene from that book. And I loved the book so much that I have asked Jasveer to hold it for me, that whenever I can make such a big scale film. So, so he has agreed to, okay, the story is with me. So I really love that story of Incredible Mr. Sweets. And once we became friends, he has been a constant support because in his work life and in my work life, we discuss a lot. What I write, I send my scripts because I'm a screenplay writer. I'm not such a story writer. I am. I think that's hard for me. So I take other people's stories and turn it into scripts, because script writing for me is kind of a skill, uh, and story writing is something else. It requires a lot of research, and I don't know what. Maybe someday I will write good stories.
No, he's not telling the truth. He's an amazing storyteller, and his stories become his screenplay. I've read the screenplay of Chakubas. That was an amazing story, uh,
uh,
and I'm looking forward to seeing it on silver screen very soon.
I hope so. And as you say, these days, silver screen or the mobile phone, OTT.
Yes.
So
Mobile
whatever,
phone OTT.
Yes.
whatever happens.
I think we are watching
Yeah.
OTT more than watching the big screen nowadays for our generation.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
So, yes.
It's part of our lives now. And one thing that I like to add about Jasveer is we have never met.
Oh,
He did come to India and we were supposed to meet, but we couldn't meet.
Personally.
But I am surprised that how can we bond so much over social media that it feels like I have known him for like ages. Like I would randomly text him, "Okay, are you free to talk?" And we would then talk about some story for a long time. And it's really helpful. Like there is this friend of mine, Mudit. He also is a big supporter in terms of art in my life. So these are my artistic friends, and Jasveer has been a big, big, big support. And I really wish him all the best for Hunter Genesis. I'm going to definitely read it, and once I read it, I'll post a nicely written review.
oh wow. It will
Thank
be
you.
that two-way thing. Now you will be getting the review, just wait, from Sonu.
From
Wonderful.
Sonu.
I should say one thing, that birds of a feather flock together. So basically, you people
Absolutely.
found each other because you people had that common
Yeah.
interest, and that is a wonderful thing. In fact, Sonu, I would like to ask you one more question here.
Hmm.
That as I can see that there are a lot of lot of, as you said, that OTT content also coming in. Okay, so
Absolutely.
like we see that there are so many stories and everything, like just also writing books. So how do you feel that can we expect that we'll be getting more better shows in the future and everything, with all that creativity that we are having around? And how is the acceptance for like the new authors coming up and giving their scripts? So how do you feel about that?
Uh-oh.
I was just There was some network issue. Can you repeat that question? I'm so
I was
sorry.
just saying that, I would just like to repeat the question that we see that we have a lot of content on OTT right now coming in, okay? And exactly from here, as the audience, we don't know that how we get the story from. So, do you think that we have an option of like, there are so many new authors who are writing wonderful stories, waiting for it to reach the public more and more. So, do you think that we have options? Do you think that people should write more and more so that we can, and is it easy to get on the script for OTT and everything, like what is the
I think people are struggling for good scripts and good stories. So I think people should write more and more.
Yeah.
And there should be a way to reach those producers as well for the authors. And that has to be figured out. For example, I know Jasveer and I know his stories. And if somebody is looking for something, I can recommend, right? I know this author and you can maybe talk to this guy. That's the only connection that people need to make, like somehow get in touch with writers of the film industry, whatever language it be.
Yeah.
And because they need story, everybody needs stories. I need stories. And I'm glad that I have a lovely story of Jasveer. And there's this from Ensemble, I have taken one story to make a short film as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm in Hyderabad. Maybe I have called this guy. Maybe we'll make it in Hyderabad only. So it's a nice story.
So Jasveer, we are looking forward to see this on screen also. And so you both have finally found the right people for each other. So yes, we can
Absolutely.
say that yes, it's a wonderful combination. And just one question, Sonu, that
Yeah.
one word in which you would like to describe Jasveer. One word, just one word. I know I'm making
Interesting.
a lot, but still interesting. Oh my God.
Interesting because of his stories and the things that he writes.
Yes. Okay. So I think Jasveer is really happy with this one word. So yeah, yes, Jasveer.
I am happy.
Okay. So Jasveer, I will ask you one tricky question. Okay, which I generally ask everyone whom I interview, because you're writing right now in English language. So is there any one English word that you like? One English word that you have to choose?
One English word. I mean, not a word, but then a phrase. Impossible is always possible. So I learned it from my from my mentor, and there's nothing called impossible, right? If you think something is impossible,
you won't believe it, because this is something that I even abide by. Because if you know about it, that the whole quote is like, impossible is not impossible is something that is possible, because impossible word itself says that I am possible.
possible.
And yes. And I think it was said by Alexander. I was reading about it, so I just loved it. See how as I said, that somehow in this interview we all found each other, and wonderful. Right. So yes. Okay. So another thing, we also wanted to invite Mansi Narula, because she is also.
Now,
can you try once?
Mansi is not online, unfortunately. Okay. But I'm going to invite, and he's going to be really upset with me. I am going to invite somebody really shy.
Okay.
I call him Dada. Okay. Right? And just like Sonu, I think we've met twice in our life physically. We were in Delhi. Mm-hmm. I hope he doesn't leave Instagram live because I'm mentioning him. His name is Ravinder Daviru.
Okay.
Ravinder, you don't have a choice, but come online. So you don't have to talk about my book.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about you. But yeah. And not to forget to mention Mansi, who also edited the first cut of your book. I hope
yes.
She has joined, but yes.
Come on, RK, join.
I should leave now. Yeah.
He's lovingly called RK, Ravinder Daviru. I hope he joins. Because he's outside. I'm not sure if he'll join or not. Okay. But I can't reach Mansi, so she's offline.
Okay. So meanwhile, we will take some more questions. Okay. So, Jasveer, my question is that if I ask you to choose one book out of all the 9 books that you've written, I know it's going to be a very tough question, but still I will ask you, which one would you like to choose and why?
I would like to choose Ensemble uh, because it's got my father's story, and he's no more, of course. But then I love that book because of that. I wish I could write more about him. I could write 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 books about his life. Okay, so he can't log in, BRK. He says watching you and talks. So that's okay. Yeah, so Ensemble is really close to my heart.
Okay. So that's a good thing. Okay, so finally, I won't be asking you a lot of questions and I won't be taking a lot of time from you. But yes, one last thing that actually from both of you, one by one, I would like to ask you this question. That one message that you would like to give away, not only for the sake of, I should say, to only people who are willing to be authors or who are willing to be like writers, also for them as well as for everyone that you have went through all in your life, because this is what we take from our interview, your experiences. So anybody can start.
Sonu, please.
One thing that I would like to say that I have learned is that I need to figure out who I am and get closer to that. And because the more farther you are from your essence of your being, you are in stress, you are in. If you figure out who you are, that's the game's done. And be honest to that. Just be honest to your true self. That's it.
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful thing to say actually. Yes. And Jasveer, something from you?
I'll take it forward from where Sonu ended.
Okay.
Discovering yourself is not about age. You can discover your true talent, your skill set, your calling in life at any age. It could be 18, it could be 24, it could be 35. I became an author when I was 37, right? And before that, I had not published any book, I had not read any book, I had never thought about that, but it happened accidentally. So don't worry if you're in your 20s, if you've crossed 25, if you're in your late 30s, or if you're in your late 20s, that what, time is passing and I still don't know what I need to do. Remember, calling the revealing of your true self does not depend upon age. It's totally spontaneous. It can happen anytime. It can happen to an 18-year-old. It can happen to a 30-year-old. It can happen to a 40-year-old as well. I mean, the classic example is KFC.
Yes.
The founder only was able to create this empire after he crossed 60. So was he too late? Absolutely not. That was his calling. It took him a great deal of time to figure out. But was he wrong? No, absolutely not. Did he lose the precious years of his life? No. Whatever he lived after that, is the life that we all remember. We don't talk about his life before that. So, I mean, that's what I say. And Sonu is 100% right. Your calling can come anytime. Don't worry. Don't sweat about it. Keep experimenting. Keep doing things. Keep doing different things till you find your calling.
Yeah. I think Sonu got disconnected, but thank you so much, Sonu, for joining in. And it was so wonderful seeing how you people have bonded and how you people so correlate with each other, and how like Jasveer is surrounded by all the wonderful people, and this is how we are getting the stories from him also. So yeah. And besides that, about achieving this thing at such like you started at 37, but you need not forget, Jasveer, that in the very beginning I told you that you have achieved a lot in such a young age, and you have taken it as a compliment.
Thank
so,
you.
Yes, that's
Yes.
one thing.
Thank you so much.
But
And something else I wanted to add, what me, Sonu, and RK we've developed is through social media.
Okay.
Social media has got so many possibilities. It's just not a place to argue with people, fight with people, to, write your reviews. It's a place to showcase your talent, connect with people, network, meet new people, find out how they can help you, find out how you can help them, So, I mean, social media is an amazing place. Internet is an amazing place, only if you use it constructively.
Exactly.
So,
I totally agree with
yeah.
that. Totally. Okay, then I think we have another segment here of giveaways. So we had a giveaway, and Jasveer, I would like to take a favor from you here because right now the list is in my phone. So I would like to request you to announce the name of the winners if possible, because
Yep.
yeah.
So I'm going to read out the IDs.
Okay.
In fact, we were supposed to choose 5, but then I've chosen 6 IDs. First is Dark Fantasy Reviews. So I like the way you described the story. I'm not going to say if it's the exact story or not, but I like the way you wrote story. And Dark Fantasy Reviews, I hope someday you also write your own book.
Wonderful.
Reviewing so many books, I really liked your story. Then next is Bookish Life 2022 underscore. That's the second one. Then Ria, the book addict. I wish some of them would actually use their name in the ID so that we know who they are. In this case, Ria, the book addict. I know Ria, you're the one. So Ria, congratulations. I hope you also like the gift. It'll be dispatched shortly. Should be with you in 3 or 4 working days. The next one is a bit tough. Discotica underscore Munica underscore La underscore Biblio TECA. So
big name.
That's the ID. Then I really like the idea that Shetu underscore Gujar had written. Really love your idea. Thank you so much. And then the next one, 6th one, is average underscore Joe 101. I loved all your ideas. Thank you so much. And you guys are the winner of the mystery gift. I hope you all like it.
Thank you so much, everyone, once again. And also one thing that really congratulations to all the winners, because I think if Jasveer has selected you all, your idea must be really amazing, because as we have been hearing him, Jasveer, after every single interview that I have with people, there's one thing that I really like, out of all the lines, out of everything that you say, I really like one idea that I like to re-quote in the very end. And there are 2 things that I would like to quote here for today. So one thing is that we somehow relate in one manner, that you said that impossible is something which is also possible, right? So that is one thing that we both like sync at one place. So yeah, that is one thing. And the second thing is, an idea that I really liked about is that if you really want to write something, write a page of it and try to give to the people who are nearby you, see how they review it. So this is one idea that I really liked about you and got motivated by it. You are not sitting here in India, but somehow a lot of people here are getting motivated by you, and you are connected to everyone, even sitting there. And it was such a wonderful time connecting with you, Jasveer. Such a wonderful time, and so easy to talk to. So keep up the spirit. I will read you this book, and I will be sending you the review of this book. So
thank you so much. And before we end, RK wants me to mention where all it's available. It's available on Amazon worldwide and at selected stores across India, thanks to LeadStart. Thank you, LeadStart. Thank you, Kharido Becho, for organizing this session. And thank you so much for hosting it. I mean, you've been a wonderful host.
Thank you, Jasveer. And I hope that will be the end of our book launch, and but the starting of the people reading your book. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you so much.
And bye-bye, all the audiences. We'll meet you in the next live session next weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.